Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to the ones gone thus. Okay. Moving toward practice, understanding practice. Practice traditionally is thought of as a medicine. If I have an illness, I need to take a medicine that's relevant to my illness. Okay. So the path and practice are, essentially that. Now, paths are defined by the experts. Baseball player, basketball player, doctor, as a path isn't defined by the 8th grader with the aspiration. It's defined by the one who understands the full trajectory, experiences, who has walked the path completely. Right. So the path of practice, or the destination, is full enlightenment. Any practice is moving toward that. What I mean by that is the realization of infinite responsibility and inclusivity of all phenomena. That what I am includes all phenomena. That's where all of this is going. All right? So one of the gifts, one of the morphic resonant imprint gifts that's in our hearts is the inevitability of Buddhahood. You can't fight it, actually. So, coffee break. So that's what we're practicing for. Now, like a baseball player or a doctor, you don't go from 0 to doctor. It's broken up into different stages. And I'm checking, making sure I'm getting everything. Yeah, all right. So just recap really quickly. Paths are defined by the experts, not by the ones with the aspiration. The path that we're talking about with all of this stuff is the inevitability of enlightenment, the realization of how magical each human being is. The magic of life, the magic of being human, all the way to the max, ultimate that. That's where the path is going. That's been defined by other human beings who have already realized that. Okay. So far, so good? Okay. Now, stages of the path are like medications that we take to cure specific ailments or illnesses relevant to our development, relevant to our movement toward enlightenment. What will move me closer to enlightenment? That's what I need to practice. Following so far? Okay. If you have any questions or can see where I'm going, okay. Coffee break. All right. So that realization of the magic represents the cessation, traditionally the cessation of suffering. All suffering, what we call all suffering, is distance from realization of the magic that you are. All suffering is perceived distance from your own inherent magic, from you're the one, from you understanding you're the one. All suffering is distance from that. So the path, stages of the path are steps that erase the distance between you and yourself, whatever that means. The supreme selfless self, okay? So that's what that is. Traditionally, the path is broken down into 3 different processes or stages. 3 different realizations, we could call them. The first is that, my mind is magical, powerful, creative instrument. If I learn to use my mind, I can manifest whatever I want. That's the first one, to know that. Stage 1. Realization of stage 2. No matter how much I manifest, manifestation does not equal peace. We were talking in the last video about understanding, you were quoting the...
Robert Thurman?
Yeah.
From the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Yeah. About, may I realize that the in-between is mine, that the rays are mine. And we were saying, then the realization, the realization is that there's nothing more to gain and nothing can be taken away from me. I have nothing, there's nothing more for me to gain and I have nothing to lose. So realization number 2 is no matter how much I manifest, no matter how much I rearrange my external environment, that doesn't produce the realization of the magic. So there's an inner type of work that I have to undergo. So the first is to understand that the first is to understand I can actually make changes to how I'm experiencing life externally. The second is that no matter how many things I rearrange out there, there's an internal process then that I have to undergo. That whatever suffering I perceive is a projection in some way. It's a result of an inner atmosphere that I'm creating and carrying. So I have to renounce the work on the outside and start to do the work on the inside, if that makes sense. But if I don't first realize that I can create whatever I want, I can't get to the second stage. It's like you have to max out kind of, if you're hungry, you eat until you're full, right? So it's like, it's irrelevant to take the medicine of the second stage if you haven't realized the first stage. It won't work, is my point. It's not relevant to the specific stage of development. Pursue your heart's wish to the max, so that hopefully you can get it and realize that, oh wow, now what? Now what am I supposed to do now? But if you don't get it, you can't get to the next phase of the thing, if you follow what I'm saying. Coffee break? How are we doing on time?
8 minutes.
Okay. So then a strange type of shift starts to happen in how we view and relate to the world when we enter that second sphere, which is essentially the renunciate's checkpoint. You can think of that. No matter how much I get, no matter how much I acquire, no matter how much stuff, I'm still not fulfilled. And that's marks stage 2. And the training in stage 2 starts to open our, let's call it a spiritual or empathetic eye, which produces the realization which produces the graduation into stage 3, which is none of this is unique to me alone. None of the suffering, none of the joy, none of the longing, nothing about it at all is specific and unique to me alone. But that everybody is going through this process of longing for, desiring, being satiated, renouncing, seeking. Everybody's moving in that way. The path begins with the acknowledgement that something's wrong. We don't try to create solutions without acknowledging a problem. So the path begins with each one of us acknowledging suffering in some way, lacking something, not having enough something. there being a problem. Stage one realization of the problem is, I can fix this. I need to save myself by fixing something. Stage two, I need to save myself by renouncing all of this silliness. Stage three, I have to save everybody. Now again, that medicine, the Bodhisattva practitioner's medicine, will be ineffective for someone who hasn't renounced. Renunciation will be ineffective for someone who hasn't really learned how to curate life according to however you want. There's no right or wrong in the curation process, but can you take a room and curate it how you want? Meaning years, decades of your life. Can you become however you want in the world? Have you followed me so far? Any questions so far? Is it clear so far? So then moving into stage three is when you move into crazy land, where I have to take one of your ships to the machine city. This guy's lost his mind. So the bodhisattvas lose their minds in a way. They lose their individual minds and start to gain a larger, inclusive sensitivity to everybody's suffering, to everybody's wish to be at home, to everybody's wish to celebrate life. They start to become empathetic to that. So the realization is, yeah, I could save myself this way, or I could save myself this way. But the training in the renunciate path starts to open our intellectual, first it opens our intellectual sensitivity to interdependent and mutually dependent, the reality of that. So maybe I could renounce for a little while and save myself for a little while, but things will show up. My dependence on other phenomena is the fact. So I have to, if I'm going to save myself, I have to save everybody, actually. And then venturing into stage three crazy land is where we go into the bodhisattva path, essentially. So I just wanted to give a brief overview of how this works, but try to impress two ideas. One, that if we don't feel at home, it's because we're experiencing a distance from our own inherent magic of being the one. If I'm not feeling at home, it's because I don't know that I'm the one, and that there's a path that the one can walk, that has been cleared and lit, and etc., by other ones who realize they're the ones. So that distance comes from that all creative solutions have the acknowledgement of problems as their genesis. That's important to understand. If I can't see there's a problem, I won't try to fix the problem. And then number three, there is a specific type of exercise or practice or medicine relevant to where I am now. Taking medicine that's either too weak or too strong, that's not what we're looking for. Or as Dalai Lama says, it's nice to wish for the best, to want the best, but it's better to know what will be effective for you. Being honest with where I am.